Syria, a Middle Eastern country beneath Turkey and next to Iraq, is a country of fertile plains, high mountains, and deserts. The country is home to diverse ethnic and religious groups, which include the Kurds, Armenians, Assyrians, Christians, Druze, Alawite Shia, and Arab Sunnis. In March of 2011, pro-democracy protests erupted in the southern city of Dera after several teenagers were arrested and tortured after painting revolutionary slogans on the walls of their school. The government sent in forces that opened fire on demonstrators, killing several. More fled to the streets to demand the resignation of President Assad. Many began to arm themselves for protection. By 2012, the violence had escalated and the conflict had turned into a civil war between the rebels and the government. By June 2013, the UN approximated that about 90,000 people had been killed in the conflict that had turned into a religious battle between the Sunni majority and the Shia minority that the president belongs to. Sunni Muslims, many of whom are affiliated with Al-Qaeda, have come to join the Sunni rebels. Shiite Muslims from Lebanon, Iraq, and Iran traveled to Syria to defend sacred sites and President Assad's regime. Syria's location between Iraq, Turkey, Lebanon, Iran, and Jordan, all of which have different religious majorities, is contributing to the conflict. Additionally, Russia entered the conflict on the side of Assad and has been supplying government forces with weaponry, training, and military advisors. In August of 2013, hundreds were killed when rockets filled with the nerve agent sarin were fired at several agricultural districts around Damascus. The outraged Western powers blamed the oppressive Syrian government, but Assad and his ally Russia pointed fingers at the rebels. The Islamic State, an extremist group that grew out of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, capitalized on the chaos in the country and moved in order to accomplish their goal of uniting the world under their Muslim rule. The group took control over large areas of territory in Syria, as well as in neighboring Iraq. Now these rebels are fighting a war within a war, as they battle against the Islamic extremists and the government forces. In September 2014, a US-led coalition began conducting airstrikes in Syria in order to destroy IS. However, the coalition has avoided attacks that may benefit Assad's forces and are trying to stay out of battles between them and the rebels. Russia began launching airstrikes at IS as well, and many Syrians are now attempting to flee the country in order to escape the violence. More than 4 million people have fled Syria since the beginning of the conflict, and approximately 7.6 million other Syrians have been displaced internally, half of whom are children. More than 700,000 Syrian refugees risked their lives to venture to Europe this year. As of this September, about 95% of these migrants have found refuge in Lebanon, Turkey, Iraq, and Egypt. Germany recently announced that they would be accepting these refugees in order to help deal with the issues facing their growing population. About 800,000 Syrians are expected to make the journey this year. According to the UN, the civil war has taken 220,000 lives so far, half of whom are considered to be civilians. Approximately 8,000 to 12,000 of these deaths were children. Currently, neither side is able to decisively defeat the other, so the international community concluded that only a political solution could end the conflict in Syria. Hopefully the conflict is resolved soon.